Welcome to this edition of Mayors Report Dublin. I'm your host, Dr. Marshall Kamina. Joining me today is Mayor Mike McCorriston from the City of Dublin. Welcome, Mayor. I'm really glad to see you.
And I'm always glad to see you, Marshall. This is a tremendous opportunity for me to talk to you.
Well, that's very, very kind of you. I must say Dublin is full of, gosh, what can I call it? Enthusiasm and participation by the citizens as well as by the council, and I think you epitomize that. And on that note, would you please update us on something that you'd like our viewers to know?
Yes, but first I want to say, hey, we're an energetic, progressive city, and we're always on the move, so we always have that energy. But I just want to say, very briefly, I want to bring awareness to a couple of new community parks that we're putting in our city on the east side, and they will be located in the new development called Francis Ranch. There will be 2 5.5-acre community parks. The critical reason I'm bringing this up is we need community input. We want the community to convey to us what amenities they want in the parks and how they should be designed. And we do have a survey right now, I just want to point out. So everything's, go to the website, it's all there, get engaged for you listeners out there. There will be a virtual community meeting on the 4th of September at 7 p.m. Via Zoom. So there will be links for all of that. And later in the month, on the 14th, which is Splatter, there will be a booth there. So that will allow some folks to also put in their input and learn about what's going on with this. So again, there are 2 community parks, 5.5 acres, located in the Francis Ranch development, which is on the east side of Dublin. And we would really appreciate the input from our community.
I think since incorporation, Dublin has been very interested in community input and has been one of the hallmarks of its success, and I congratulate you for that. Yeah. Would you mind updating our viewers on the progress of the Iron Horse Trail bridge that's across Dublin Boulevard?
I will, and I'm glad, honestly glad you're bringing this up, because I am getting a lot of inquiries about that. Even my neighbor, I was coming home driving in the driveway, and he said, hey, what's going on? They're big bikers, right? So,
there you go.
Yeah, so it is critical. I'm gonna just give a quick history. We, about a year ago, said, hey, it'll be finished summer. We pushed that out a little bit because of some technical work that had to be done into the fall, and we publicly mentioned that a couple months ago, we'll say. So now, where are we? We've got this big, beautiful bridge. It's still under construction. I want to be clear about, we're still targeting the fall, hopefully late October. But I just wanted to convey some of the things that we're dealing with right now. We're waiting for some railings for the bridge and for the ramps down. We need those to complete the bridge itself. There's also a couple of things that we need to do. Connecting from the bridge itself as it comes down on the north all the way to Horizon Parkway. Now, this Horizon Parkway, people may or may not be familiar with. This is on the backside of Don Biddle. And where that connects, we have to build out the Iron Horse Trail. And my understanding is some of that responsibility is on the boulevard development. So we have to work hand in hand with them to get that finished. There's also some other things. There's a right turn lane that has to be off of Dublin Boulevard into Scarlet Drive that has to be done. And there's some other improvements in landscaping. But I'll go out there and say we're still shooting for the fall. And I know there's a lot of residents who are looking at that and say, I really want that in place. So if it doesn't happen, you come back to me, all right?
But at least you can't use the excuse, we're waiting for PG&E.
No. But I just want to be very clear that there's a few more things that are going on.
I loved your comment about the back of Don Biddle. Oh gosh. You know, National Night Out was recently held in Dublin. I wonder if you can give us a few words.
Every year for the last 40 years, this has been a big thing, not only for Dublin, but for the entire nation. And this past year, or this past National Night Out, was, again, very popular and very successful. We had 30 registered events. Means people have come and said, no, where we are, we'd like you to come visit. This is in, some of these places include parks, private homes, little potluck areas, block parties, I should say, apartment complexes, churches, neighborhood clubhouses throughout the city. The event, as we know, is coordinated by the police together with the fire department. And it gives a chance, it gives a chance for council and to mingle with residents, but that's not the important part. The important part is it brings community together. Whereas we're in such a fast-moving society these days, we don't really know our neighbors so much. This gives us that ability to connect and know our neighbors. It's also very important because it allows folks to interact with our safety providers. And of course, the big fire trucks come and the police cars come and all the kids gather and all the kids at heart like me gather, ooh, right? But this is a tremendous community event that brings people together, and it was very successful this year. Yeah, I just can't say enough about this event.
It's one of the benefits of being in the Tri-Valley area with a finite size and so on. I can't imagine this being successful in Berkeley or Oakland.
Maybe a little more complex in those areas.
It just might be. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back on this edition of Mayors Report Dublin in just a moment. Welcome back to this edition of Mayors Report Dublin. We are here talking with Mayor Mike McCorriston from the City of Dublin. Welcome back from that intermission.
Thank you, Marshall.
Emerald High School has opened. It's been a long time coming. It's a wonderful project. Please share some information about them with us.
Well, there's a lot to say. I will start by saying we're very proud of this high school. We're very proud of the work that's been done. A lot of people have been involved in this, both on the school board, residents, and even the council has been interactive with this. So this is a collective project that will benefit a need that has developed over time because of our growth. We are still one of the fastest growing cities in the state. And we really needed this comprehensive high school, which my understanding is there hasn't been a comprehensive high school built in Alameda County in 50 years. I just want to give some bullet points of what's going on here. The project itself has 3 phases. So we've just completed phase 1. I'm going to give some background on this very quickly. And phase 1 includes an administrative building, an academic tower for the students, a student union, a visual and performing arts center, a library, and a gymnasium and sports field. There will be, over the next 2 years, there'll be 2 more phases involved. So there's ongoing work with this project. And the second and third phases will include a large visual and performing arts center. We are going to call it the Catherine Koo Visual and Performing Arts Center. It'll have a 600-seat capacity, so it's going to be very substantial. There will be some stadium bleachers and some other support buildings. But I think what's really interesting is we have just started school.
Yes.
And there are some new students. And those new students were segregated and identified at the Dublin High School. They were freshmen and sophomore. They're being transferred over. They've actually taken, they're there now, right? And what's going to happen, so people know, over the next 2 years, they'll add one class for the next 2 years. So the 8th graders now will flip over and become freshmen there, and then the the freshman and sophomore will move up, and then the following year in 26, I think it is, you'll have the final class. So then you'll have 4 classes on this. So it's a phase-in process, not only with students but also with building, and building will be ongoing as over the next 2 years. So this is an exciting project. And it's very noticeable throughout the Bay Area, very well known. A lot of investment has been put into this. And I was able to go to the groundbreaking, and I was very impressed. I've had tours, and I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. So they got beautiful structures there. I'm very proud of that, and very proud of the accomplishments.
Will the school be open to anyone eligible, or are there geographic limits?
Geographic, and I believe, and I didn't catch me on this, but I think it's Camp Parks, well, I call it Camp Parks East, or the Boulevard East, I believe. I could be a little bit off on that, but there is some geographic location limits on that as they phase in. So they've identified those students and where they live, and that's how they're transferring them.
That works, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. This is a major project, a major accomplishment for the city.
You know what else? Registration is open for the Dublin 26. The challenge that returns next month. What's that all about?
Okay, so I participated in this a couple years back.
You had to be that age to do it, right?
You wish.
Yeah.
There's some youngsters. I remember there were some kids who were less than 10 years old doing this.
Well, it says 26 here.
Well, the 26 part is identifying with the length or the objective, and it's to kind of look at what a 26.25 mile marathon would be, and that's how they identified it.
Pretty robust, isn't it?
Oh, it is. And like I said, I've done it, and there are 26 miles of hikes, trails. You have an option to walk, hike throughout the geographic area of Dublin. And what I wanted to bring up is that registration's already in place right now, and the event will take place from the 9th of September through October. And the objective is to try to accomplish this 26 miles in any other way, various trails, walking, running, whatever you want to do. But I do want to bring up, there's one thing we've added, and that is it's called the Trail Challenge Passport. And participants will look on the website and say, okay, these are the recommended routes. If they complete each one of those routes, what they do is they turn in their passport, or I guess it's a number, and they're eligible for some prize drawings, and those prize drawings could be fairly significant. Gift cards from local restaurants and shops, Dick's Sporting Goods, The Well, Denica's, Pacific Catch, and there's a lot more. So there's some encouragement there. It's always been successful. I remember when I did it, there were over 200 people that were interested in all this. So it's something to keep our health up, our awareness, so we can see what's going on, and we got plenty of trails.
Did the idea generate from the population or from the rec department?
I think it was a combination. There was a lot of folks that said, a lot of residents said, you know, we'd like to make use of some of these trails. Where are these trails? And then the Parks and Rec said, hey, you know, we have a lot of trails. We identified all of this. So it was kind of a combination of making people aware, and some of those residents that really wanted to take advantage of all the beautiful trails that we have in Dublin.
Well, your Park and Rec department is a jewel in the crown of all our Park and Rec departments, and its cooperation with feedback from your city residents.
And we're very proud of them.
Oh, you should be.
Good job.
The wave, that makes people shake when they hear that. What can you tell us about, is it going to be closing pretty soon?
Well, to be specific, the water park is going to close on, I believe it's after Labor Day. The wave is actually open all year long.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah. And it's very popular, even in the winter. A lot of folks sign up to do swimming laps. There's swimming lessons there. There's aqua aerobics. There's all kinds of programs they have going on all year long. So this is a well-utilized facility. They even have organized teams there. Dublin High School. They have a water polo season that's just starting, and they're starting to gear up for that with practices there. And there are others, and you can actually, if you are an organized team, you can rent spaces for competitions there. And of course, we have the award-winning Dublin Green Gators recreation swim team there. I remember them from the west side when they were over at the high school, and my daughters swam on their team too.
Kidding.
So this is a great facility. So I just wanted to say is, hey, there's a lot of popularity actually. And I just want to go back one thing. It was so popular this summer, there were an additional 2,400 attendees. So it was kind of packed. And they rent out some of the cabanas and lounge chairs, and there was a massive increase in those. So I'd like to point out that it is very popular during the summer, but it's also very well utilized during the winter and the fall and the other months.
Well, each year here in Community TV, we have contests called Lucky Fans. And one of the items that people really wanted was, if you became a Lucky Fan, was to be able to be given from Channel 30 tickets to the wave. And that's been, if we were to judge, we'd have to say, boy, that's really something, because it's absolutely popular forever.
Very popular.
What events that are coming up that would you like to tell us about?
Well, Marshall, there are 3 events that I want to briefly bring to the attention of folks. We have an Artificial Intelligence Summit. It'll be the 2nd annual summit on Wednesday, August 21st, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Patelco Credit Union headquarters, and the address on this is 3 Park Place, Dublin. I mean, you can see the big sign there, but I just wanted to point that out. And I want to just give you a little bit of background on this because it's kind of in my wheelhouse. We're going to have some panelists. There'll be a panel discussion, folks from the industry and from Lawrence Livermore Lab, to discuss some of the topics such as legislation of AI, privacy, bias, and some real-world applications for the technology. What's also very important is this is going to be a great networking event for folks. There will be a lot of CIOs there, IT leaders, business leaders, investors, entrepreneurs from not only the Tri-Valley and Silicon Valley, but the greater Bay Area. And I wanted to point out and shout out thanks to the sponsors they have there, the Patelco Credit Union and Resolve AI and Startup Tri-Valley. Finally, I want to point out this is kind of all connected to where Dublin wants to head, and I've mentioned this before, is that as a host city, this is really an ongoing effort by the City of Dublin to support businesses in this technology sector. So we're going to have more of this, and we're going to have more AI and technology related meetings like this. The thing I want to point out is, and probably everybody wants to know, is yes, it's free. Okay, free's good, right? And just go to the Dublin website, and there's registration for that.
Well, that whole campus there, called Park Place, made me think of Monopoly.
It kind of does, doesn't it, Marshall?
But it's right at the corner of Hacienda Boulevard and Dublin Boulevard.
That's correct.
And you can see the sign on the top that says Patelco.
Big sign.
And here is the big artificial intelligence IQ test. Do you know what Patelco means?
Well, it used to be the credit union for the phone companies.
Yes, Pacific Telephone Company.
Ah!
A wholly owned subsidiary by AT&T.
I remember in the breakup, too. I just couldn't remember the names.
I put you on the spot there, I'm sorry. But,
no, it's good.
But that building is so nice that I think you'll have a wonderful time.
It is very nice. Well, there's a couple other things very quickly.
Yes, take your time.
We have the annual business acknowledgement, and every year the City of Dublin honors local businesses celebrating milestone anniversaries. And you think about it, it's like, well, Dublin's kind of new compared to some of the other cities around here, so what could you possibly have for so many? We have businesses, sure, for 20 years, but we have businesses that we're recognizing that have been in the city for 60 years. And this year we're going to honor 91 businesses. The event will take place in the Bray Community Room at the Dublin Civic Center on Wednesday, August 28th. Now, it's an early morning event, so you gotta kind of roll out of bed. It's gonna be 7:30 in the morning. So, but it is very appreciated by the businesses, and I'm certainly looking forward to being there.
And what will they do there?
They're going to give them awards. They're going to call their names. They're going to give them a plaque, and they'll tell people a little about what businesses, what they've done, and obviously how long they've been there. So it's recognition and awareness. Even though, I think there'll be coffee there. So.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Well, in my field, one of the big giants is Zeiss, and by golly, when it moved to Dublin, I thought I'm in heaven now. But you've got some really good companies.
And we're working on it, and we're going in the right direction. Finally, there's one other item here that we can't forget. And up until the time it happens, I'm going to keep telling people, we got Splatter going on. Splatter on the 14th of September at Emerald Glen. It'll be from noon to 9 p.m. This is a multicultural event. There'll be plenty of food and wine and art and, of course, music, right? And for me, it's the music, but it's also the 200 light drone show at the conclusion of this. I think that's where a lot of folks go. I also want to bring up one last thing. There is a new and improved lounge. It's going to be called the Rose Lounge, where visitors can purchase a tasting passport to enjoy a little bit of cuisine and mix it with a little beer and wine and from the Livermore Valley. Go to dublinsplatter.com for more information on that.
You've got people on your staff who never stop.
Yeah, I'll tell you, they're hard workers.
Well, thank you, Mayor, for being here today with us and updating us. And thank you for watching us on this edition of Mayors Report Dublin. Join us for the next episode right here on Tri-Valley TV. I'm Dr. Marshall Kamina. Thank you so much for joining us.